All right, welcome back, viewers, for another episode of Environmental History Worth Reading. I'm Sean Courage, one of the editors here at niche-canada.org, and I'm joined by Jessica.
And I'm Jessica DeWitt. I'm the niche social media editor.
So, Jessica, this month we're going to do something a little bit different because readers will already have noticed at the beginning of this week that we published your History Carnival post for History Carnival 146, which you've titled Facets of Environmental History. Could you just tell viewers a little bit about History Carnival, what it's all about, and what you've done here with this article?
Certainly. Every month, a new blog hosts the History Carnival at their own site. So the History Carnival place is just really a place that links out to the different history carnivals. And the the blog that's hosting it kind of has free will over what's the content is, and the idea is to just get publicity out for as many different history blogs that is possible. So this month I looked at almost every post that I saw on the internet and organized them into some subtopics, and yeah, some great stuff out there. So
So it's a great profile of recent writing in environmental history. In a lot of ways, it's like what you've been doing on the niche site, but in a
mhm.
huge write
Yeah.
up with a ton of posts. So instead of going through each of those posts on this month's video, we thought it would be a good opportunity to talk just about some of the interesting blogs that are out there and profile some of the blogs. And we're going to start with your own, Jessica, Historical DeWitticisms, Environmental History and Random Musings by J.M. DeWitt.
Yes. Um, so I think blogging is increasingly becoming a very important part of academia, and blogging offers unique opportunities for academics because, firstly, it allows you to communicate directly with the public. They may never see your journal article, but if they see your blog post circulating on social media or whatnot, they're more likely to engage with your scholarship. Secondly, we really are our own publicists, right? So it's about getting the word out about yourself and what you do and why it's important. And thirdly, I think that it allows us to interact with current events more quickly and more directly. So if we see something, an article, we can react to it, or an event, we can react to it immediately. We don't have to wait for it to go through the peer review process and come out 5 years from now and it's no longer relevant, perhaps. Um, and I think another nice thing is that it provides a place to put those random things that we find in our research and
Mm-hmm.
our in the archives that, we really can't justify putting into the dissertation or the book or whatnot, but it's still really interesting, and perhaps somebody else will see it and it will be pertinent to their own research.
So your
So those are
blog
the
is like a
oh, continue.
personal blog, personal research blog that
Yeah,
focuses on your own
yeah,
work. And you've been looking at environmental history writing online now for a while, and you've pulled up a whole bunch here that we're going to go through. The first is a group blog called Edge Effects.
hmm yeah. The EdgeFX blog is it's edited by grad students in the Center for Culture, History, and Environment at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Um, and it's a really great blog. It's similar to Nisha's own blog in that
Mm-hmm.
it brings in different scholars to talk about on a variety of topics. And it's another good example of what a communal blog can do.
So it's multiple authors contributing. Is it? Do they do it every week? A couple times a week?
Couple times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then over here we've got one that's a little bit more broad than environmental history called Ant
Yeah.
Spider Bee Exploring the Digital Environmental Humanities.
Yeah, so this website is linked to the Rachel Carson Center, and they have three components of it. The ANT, which is kind of amalgamates all kinds of different articles that they find on the web, kind of just puts a little description and the link to those articles. The Spider, which is their call for papers and conferences, and then the B, which is their more significant blog posts. And it's a really great site. It just relaunched about a month or two ago,
Hmm.
and is really picking up steam, and it has some really good stuff on it.
And again, another group blog, this one based out of Germany.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then we've got The Power and the Water Connecting Pasts and Futures.
Yes. So this is an environmental history uh, project as well, and it's based in the UK, and it's looking at um, the way they say that the 21st century sense of place and livelihood and how that is connected to the past and the waterways and the way that these waterways have been used. And they have great blogs from all the people on the project that deal with both past subjects and current subjects.
Yeah,
So,
this one's neat. I mean, the first two are broad environmental history, environmental humanities blogs, and then this one is sort of thematically focused.
mhm, yep.
All right. We swing now to a couple of personal blogs, single researcher focused one, and this one is by Stephen Bocking at Trent University called Environment History Science.
Yes. Yeah, these personal blogs are just really great examples of what you can do to publicize what you're doing. It seems that Stephen uses it a lot to show what he's doing in his classes
Hmm.
and to publicize his lectures, the topics that he's dealing with in his classes. And I think that's a really good resource for people who are designing their own history of science and environmental history courses. So it's kind of a way to reach out to other people that are doing the same thing.
And we've got Dolly Jorgensen's The Return of Native Nordic Fauna. This is one you've profiled before in the Environmental History
Yeah,
Worth Reading series.
yeah. Dolly is one of the more prolific historian bloggers
Yeah.
in environmental history, and I feel like you can't discuss blogs without discussing hers. And she puts something out almost every week, and they're always really neat, and they usually do deal with current events, and then she brings it back to her own work, which is about the reintroduction of wildlife and rewilding in I think Sweden and Norway.
Yeah.
So it's a really great blog. It's a excellent example of what you can do with a personal blog, and I highly suggest people take a look at it
Yeah,
if they
this
haven't
one
already.
is so active and it's animated directly by this particular research area that Dolly is interested in. So
Hmm.
this, I think you're right, is a prototypical example of how to take a blog and use it actively in your research. Then we travel down under to New Zealand. We've got Enviro History NZ.
Yes. This is by environmental historian Catherine Knight, and it's also one of my favorite environmental history blogs. And what I like about it is that she's also very active, but she doesn't necessarily only put out long form blog posts. A lot of it are just little things that she finds in the archives, or photographs, or poems that she finds uh, deal with her research in some manner or in the way that she feels about her native landscape. So I think it's a really good example of also what you can do with a personal website, and that it doesn't have to be super involved. It can just be little snippets, and it still creates a very colorful portrait of what you do and why you think it is important.
Right, because of
So,
course, one of the points of writing for the web is that you're not restricted to a particular page length per se. So you could have something very long form, or you could have something
mhm,
very short, or image or video focused, or audio focused.
mhm.
Now we've got a couple of graduate student blogs. The first one is the Americanist Diversion.
Yes, so this is probably my favorite grad student blog, which I have profiled on uh, my environmental history worth reading as well. And I think she just has a really great setup. She is an American Studies PhD, and she looks at environmental history and also gender and racial history. And the way that she has the front page set up, she has it broken down into those different topics. And I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's really well done. And she has some really great posts. Um, and it's just uh, this shows the way that even as a graduate student, you can put yourself out there and bring in traffic to your ideas. Don't be afraid to express yourself, to start writing. You don't have to start writing just for your dissertation. You can start writing before that. So.
Yeah, the organization on this site is fantastic. And I think obviously her own research comes at history in a number of different ways: environment, race, gender. And then toward the bottom, she has this landscapes and excursions slide deck that
Hmm.
goes through photographs, I assume, that she's taking and posting on her site.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's just a good site.
finally, we've got Matt Holmes here at Thinking Like a Mountain: The Weird and Wonderful in the History of Science and the Environment.
Yes, he's also a PhD student in history and philosophy of science. So his blog deals with history of science and environmental history. And I think it's just another really great graduate student blog. He's pretty prolific. A lot of his posts are book reviews,
Hmm.
which I think is a great idea. Perhaps you're not writing a book review for a journal or HNet, but when we're going through the comms process, we're still writing book reviews, right? And we have thoughts that are interesting and worth communicating to the rest of the world, to the other people in the field. So your own blog allows you to do that. And he also posts a lot from conferences, which I think is a great idea to have conference reflections. I plan to do one about the Canadian Historical Association meeting that I was at this past week on my own blog. So just another way that grad students can publicize themselves and start communicating with other people.
Yeah, and if you think about when you're doing your coursework or you're preparing for comprehensive exams, writing a little bit about each of the books that you're reading is a helpful way to grapple with some of the ideas and to help you recall or integrate that historiography into your thinking as you're preparing.
Hmm. Yep.
So, hopefully, this episode this month has inspired you to write your own environmental history blog, or to at least check out some of these great blogs here. And please do, everyone, go take a look at Jessica's History Carnival post, Facets of Environmental History, which is up now on the Niche website at niche-canada.org. Thanks so much, Jessica.
Thank you, Sean.